For our agenda, I'd like to tell you more about Southbase Energy Institute and one of our key programs, the Nonprofit Energy and Water Initiative, and talk about our engagement strategies for success in our program, and then some results and case study excerpts. This is our main campus. We're a nonprofit based in Atlanta. If you have time while you're in town, you're welcome to stop by and tour our facility. We promote sustainable homes, workplaces, and communities through education, research, advocacy, and technical assistance. The challenge that nonprofits have are mostly financial constraints and technical resource limitations, operational priorities, and inefficient buildings. So, for example, Boys and Girls Clubs are mostly focused on taking care of boys and girls and making sure they don't fall off the jungle gym. They don't really have the bandwidth to have sophisticated technical staff on their team. And then food banks that we're working with are mostly focused on distributing food to their agencies and taking care of food so that it's safe. Through our initiative, national nonprofits with a portfolio of facilities will be able to free revenue and time and resources back to their core mission. Our mission is to develop a sustainable energy and water efficiency program that demonstrates the value of investing in energy, water, and resource efficiency. As Anthony, the first speaker, mentioned, some people care mostly only about money and cost savings. Some people care about the environmental benefits and greenhouse gas emissions. And some people care about all of those things. So we try in our assessments to quantify all of those benefits so that we can speak to everyone's interests. In our portfolio approach, it's really important to benchmark with relevant metrics. As you know, most people benchmark with energy and water use and cost per square foot. We also look at metrics that are specific to our portfolio. So in the case of Boys and Girls Clubs, it might be cost per member, or in your case, cost per student. And in the food banks, it would be use and cost per pound of food delivered. Then we find common operating characteristics. I know schools have similar characteristics, Boys and Girls Clubs that we're working with, and food banks. And we're learning a lot more about the kinds of things that work well in each of those portfolios, and also the things that can go wrong, and common operational practices that contribute to waste. We demonstrate the opportunities and then report on the results, successes, and lessons learned through case studies. We use Energy Star Portfolio Manager for tracking our buildings. Do you use Portfolio Manager for your buildings? Okay. So it's really great. It has great tracking and measurement and verification. This is an example of a chart where you can see the three peaks on the left are before participating in our program. And then the blue is electricity, and the natural gas is in red, and you can see that a significant drop once they began working with us in our program. And so these are screen captures that are really easy to grab out of Portfolio Manager and pop into your deck for presentations to leadership. So our key deliverables for our programs are to identify a set of recommendations that can be used broadly across similar facility types, and to share that information via case studies and other resources on our program website. And at the end of our deck, I'll show you how to find our resources. And Anthony mentioned that they're mostly working on buildings at 50,000 square feet and over, but I believe the statistic is that 41% of energy in the U.S. is by buildings, and then 40% of that is for buildings under 50,000 square feet. So that's an important number of buildings, and the reason that they don't get a lot of attention is because it takes a lot of time to go and work with all of those individual buildings. So we're hopeful that by reporting and working with our demonstration facilities, we can develop the case studies so people can network and learn from each other. Right now we have 40 Boys and Girls Clubs in 16 states that we're working with. We have great stories to tell. We have the benchmarking process is really important, but then the comparative analysis is even more important. For example, we tell the Boys and Girls Clubs that, this club uses this much water per member, and you use 10 times that much. And that makes them think, why is that? So in the case here on the left, they were just constantly filling the pool, heating the pool water, and then it was overflowing to the drain 24/7. And that was costing them $40,000 a year, and they had no idea that that was a problem. So just being able to say, hey, you're just way over the top on several things, and puts it in perspective for them, and it helps guide them. And definitely when we report on the successes, they're very excited. This particular building has reduced its energy use and water use by more than 70% each. As I mentioned before, we are keeping our resources on our website. So we have most of the efficiency toolkit items are geared toward the Boys and Girls Clubs right now. We're working with Feeding America on a website to house our information on our food banks. So I'm just going to show you a few slides of some of the food banks that we worked with. These are some of our bigger buildings, and they've had great success. We worked with the East Texas Food Bank in Tyler. They replaced all their lighting. All of our projects have replaced all of their lighting with LED. They did some window film, optimized their irrigation system, and the result is they competed on our team in the national building competition last year, and they came in first place in the distribution center category. So they were really excited, and they liked having the recognition, the national recognition for their work. And you can see over there on the right that $1 in savings to them enables them to serve 8 more meals. And then we also worked with the St. Louis Area Food Bank. They had similar success. One of the things they track their greenhouse gas emissions, so you can see on the green piece of the pie that electricity is a big part of their footprint. So we worked with them focusing on the electricity savings. They also did LED lighting throughout. In outdoor lighting, we use high-low lighting with integral motion sensors. So when there's no motion detected, it goes into a low mode that's generally field adjustable. So we really like that. And the motion sensors are great. We feel that they actually improve security, because if you approach a building and the lights get brighter, it draws attention to things. And everybody loves it so far. We are putting power monitoring on the food banks, so we can measure. We've found that about 70% of the energy in food banks is strictly for the refrigeration process. And in all of our projects, we either installed new web-based controls or we upgraded their existing controls so that they were web-based, and then made other improvements such as adding CO2 or demand control ventilation. Little things like not being able to turn a big central system off at night because you've got a server room in the building. That's a common problem. So, we look at putting mini split systems in those areas. We looked at all the opportunities for adding variable speed drives to fans. This one is for a cooling tower at the food bank. And you can see the results today. Tremendous. You can see that the electricity use dropped off. It's hard to see a big difference there because their refrigeration plant was 70%, but you can see a huge drop in the natural gas use. And then using the portfolio approach, again, there are certain things that are just specific to certain building types that everybody else wouldn't even think about, like your defrost controllers. Instead of doing them on a schedule with a mechanical time clock, having smart controls. Who knew that freezer slabs had to be heated? So making sure those temperatures are optimized so we're not wasting extra energy heating the floor slab up and then cooling the freezer back down. Optimizing building automation systems, shutting off everything. Our rule of thumb is if it doesn't need to be on, turn it off. So we turn off everything that can possibly be turned off at night, or turn it off, modulate it, at least do something. We're looking at daylight harvesting in some of our new food banks, and actually in many projects we have photocell controls on the new LED so that they can dim in response to available daylight. We're looking at rainwater harvesting. We have one small system installed up on the top right at a Boys and Girls Club in Rome, Georgia, that they use for their watering their garden. The project on the left is the Oklahoma City Food Bank, and they're interested in rainwater harvesting for their community garden. And that was Cauliflower the goat, by the way. And one of the things we like, in energy efficiency, I've heard some people say this, but there are not a lot of things that you can see and so the LED lighting is one. If the lighting is really pretty and the controls are working well, especially if you've got dimming capabilities, which we really like to use in office spaces. If the LED lighting looks great and then all of a sudden everybody starts saving a bunch of money, people start becoming more interested in efficiency, and the drinking fountain with the bottle fill station is one of the big hits, and all the kids love them, and people are curious about them at first, but then everybody gets to love them. And the fun facts are that if you use filtered municipal water, even with the filter replacements, it's less than a penny per gallon, whereas if you buy bottled water out of the machine, it'll cost you $5 per gallon. So it's a great benefit for staff, students, and everybody. So we love these, but this is one of the things. There's not there. The new drinking fountains do have something so that they'll cycle off at night, but the main benefit is teaching the lesson about materials management and avoiding landfill. So some of the program highlights, for our original pilot, it was 14 clubs. We had 12 clubs compete in the 2015 National Building Competition, and we came in first place in water savings nationally and second in energy savings. We won an EB award for the All Together Now category, which is based on savings for a group of buildings. One of our Boys and Girls Clubs was 2016 MVP in the Atlanta Better Buildings Challenge. Southface is also the technical assistance partner for the Atlanta Better Buildings Challenge. One of our Boys and Girls Clubs recently was certified under the Earthcraft Light Commercial Certification Program, and they have a solar array on the roof, and it was a renovation of a former daycare facility. But the whole community just practically was involved in this project. So it's really important on communicating the results. This is a cost before and after per square foot, and some of these facilities are just joining our program, so that's why some of them are the same or not very different. But you can see kind of in the middle there was the Boys and Girls Club that was pouring their pool water down the drain, so they reduced their cost per square foot by $1.75. So if you apply that to any of the buildings that you're working on, you can see how the savings potential is huge. And that savings then turns into impact for various nonprofits. So the savings at the Boys and Girls Clubs means that 208 additional kids the clubs can afford to provide services for 208 additional children. And on the food bank side, the savings in that program means that additional 165,000 meals can be served per year. So thank you for your time today. It was great being here. Are there any questions? Oh, this is our team if you want to reach out to us about. Oh, sorry.
What's the average size of the buildings that you're working with?
So as the technical assistance partner for the Atlanta Better Buildings Challenge, we have buildings from just a few thousand square feet up to many hundreds of thousands of square feet. One of our engineers right now is working on the aquarium. That's a 600,000 square foot building. One of our clients is Woodruff Art Center, the High Museum of Art, Fernbank Museum of Natural History. Fernbank's saving $100,000 a year now after participating in our program. So we work on buildings of all sizes, Grady Memorial Hospital, all kinds. This program that I'm showcasing today is specific to the portfolios that we're looking at. It's a different program from some of the other programs that Southface has, and it's funded differently as well. And we are on social. You can follow us at Twitter at Southface. If you have any questions or if you want to view our website, it's the new initiative at .southface.org.